MarketJoy.
Thank you, Gerhard. Thank you, Tricia. It's been an awesome event so far. I've enjoyed all the presentations. And yeah, as Gerhard mentioned, I represent MarketJoy. We've been specializing in outbound lead generation since 2016. We provide not only data, but buyer intent, outbound playbook, strategy, SQLs, MQLs, campaign management. And we really take products and services to market for our partners and enhance whatever they might be doing currently in regards to outbound, providing pipeline diversity, business continuity, and really more highly qualified sales leads. And we do leverage AI, but we also leverage human intelligence. And that's really where we're going to go from there. And then myself, as Gerhard never mentioned, Curtis Bendt. I've been in the industry for about 36 years. Currently the CRO for MarketJoy. Background is outbound sales, lead generation. Been able to work with companies like CBS Interactive, Cox, If Davis, even Science, and have found MarketJoy to be my home for like the last probably 10 years. As we go through, I believe we'll also post LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me. Definitely love to connect. I'll be reaching out to many after the event through Umbrella as well. But if we move through here, yeah, it might be a little bit dramatic, which I understand. But the goal for today is really to share some ways that AI does work to enhance outbound lead gen and also toy with the myth that, really AI solves everything. Um, as we go through, I was able to find an article through Revenue Brew that had interviewed a good chunk of go-to-market leaders and actually had some stats that I figured would be perfect for this event. And one of them is that, it stated that 90% of senior go-to-market leaders said through though their strategy has been rolled out, just about 10% are seeing it drive results. And that's really what sparked my interest in doing a presentation of this nature. AI is often marketed as a one-stop solution. Once you find the platform, leads are going to pour in. And as an active outbound lead gen agency, we have the unique ability to identify where it really does help and where it is just a little bit of sizzle. Another stat there is that, despite 77% of companies investing in an AI-driven future, 28% reported performance improvements. And that's kind of one of the real truths is that tools don't implement themselves. ICPs don't necessarily refine themselves. Campaigns don't optimize themselves. But where we have found where AI can truly help in outbound lead generation is really first industry experience. AI has made our outbound experts industry experts in a shorter window of time, pulling industry insights, trends, jargons into earlier playbooks, and that shortens the runway, shortens the time to the first lead, to the first engagement, to the first closed deal. So, we obviously, or not obviously, but we definitely have industries we specialize in. This enhances our team's ability to become industry experts at a much faster pace. Another is buyer intent. This is also an aspect that we've seen has greatly impacted, how outbound is working. And this really is what we find it does is it shortens the sales cycle. Makes it more comparable to an inbound lead than an outbound lead. An outbound, you're presenting that idea to them, hoping it fits, hoping it's the right time, and also that trust factor, which many people have spoken about today as well. With leveraging intent data, you have just a higher likelihood of catching someone at that right time and moving that deal a lot faster. And then the knowledge base. Since we have the ability to commingle industry-specific campaigns, we're able to identify common trends, bottlenecks, and delays that can all be avoided in advance. So creating a super brain for manufacturing leads, for healthcare leads, for SaaS leads, allows us to feed in not only the playbooks, but the data, the analytics, the lead feedback, the show rates, the whole of everything. And that also allows us to create and enhance the playbook a lot sooner to make it more impactful right out of the gate. Where we've seen AI help our clients is shorter sales cycles to start with. Applying AI and buyer intent helps identify those prospects when the timing's right. And then this combined with AI systems that are able to nurture contacts, help us identify potential customers when they're most likely to buy, helps our clients shorten their sales cycle. Also monetizing inbound. One thing we had found is a lot of our partners had a good amount of inbound traffic, but unless they filled out a form, they weren't doing anything with it. So with our team, we're able to, take that most inbound traffic through AI agents, traffic revealers, etc. We're able to assess those web visitors, isolate them by the ICP, because just because they go to a website doesn't mean they're a good prospect, and then engage those folks. And so that allows us to drive more inbound leads, basically inbound leads to their sales pipeline by, again, utilizing that web visit as a sense of buyer intent, and then also a faster path to ROI. With our team of experts leveraging AI tools, we're able to bring leads in faster that close sooner and identify ROI at a much faster pace. And with outbound lead generation, that is a key thing. When individuals are investing in outbound lead gen, they're looking for it to move very fast, usually need to fill a gap and get some more sales conversations in. And in all truth, outbound usually takes a little bit of time. The leads aren't sitting on a shelf. We have to build the playbooks, the data, engage, and nurture. So if we're able to shorten that runway time to when we see the first lead, we're able to shorten the sales cycle by identifying that lead is in market. That allows our clients to move to a faster path towards ROI. And just recently, we had received 3 quotes in one day where they're relatively new customers that have indicated success, even closed deals very early in the campaign. So there is proof in the pudding here. We've really found also AI is going to be only as good as the team using it. And I've heard that come up a couple of times in different, presentations yesterday and today. And that's very much the truth. What was it? A fool with a tool is still a fool. Domain knowledge, you need to have somebody that has an understanding of what the problems are that need solving and how AI can fit into existing processes. With outbound, that might be outside of the scope of someone that's not familiar with all the nuances to really identify. Strategic implementation, identifying the right workflows where AI can have the most impact, as well as where AI stops and human intelligence begins. And then continuous optimization. Always be optimizing. AI systems improve with quality data and feedback loops, which require active management. And that's what we find on our campaigns that we run for our prospects is it's an ongoing and always enhancing process. And then also what does work, and going back to some of those stats, 80% of go-to-market leaders reporting signs of burnout and stress among their teams due to twisted priorities or inefficient workflows. And that's an example where AI can amplify the capabilities of a team, but it can't replace strategic thinking, team experience, insights, wisdom. Organizations that see the greatest ROI from AI really have invested in training and coaching, and that's what we've done with our teams already. Teams, they need hands-on training to understand how AI fits into their day-to-day responsibilities. Change management. Employees must adapt their workflows to leverage AI effectively and not hide behind it. And that's one thing. If AI can allow someone to do their normal level of work within a shorter period of time, I don't see that being the objective. I see those individuals being able to do more with their time by utilizing those tools. And so it'll be interesting to see different roles that might uh, tend to hide behind AI versus utilizing it as a tool. And then KPIs and measurements. Success metrics should be clearly defined before adoption so teams can evaluate whether AI is even delivering the promised results. Um, and in that study, also, it said about 6% are really keeping abreast of go to market performance signals and KPIs. And that actually sounded very low to me, but then also there's all the hype. It's not so much what are we getting from it, it's what are we implementing, and then it eventually will boil down to, okay, what is this doing to exactly impact our bottom line? And that's where bringing in a partner could definitely make sense. When adopting AI tools, many companies focus solely on the technology itself, but AI is not a magic bullet. It's not just about having access to the tools, but really about how those tools are applied. And this is when partnering with a provider who can not only supply the technology, but also bring the expertise to execute it effectively starts to make sense. Companies with unified enablement tech stacks were 42% more likely to improve sales productivity. And as we're not a tech stack, having an educated partner with experience is also going to have that same impact. And some of the key aspects are, expertise. AI tools have incredible potential, but without expert guidance, they often become underutilized, even misapplied. Strategy, AI isn't plug and play, just yet. A capable partner will help you move beyond the initial excitement of adoption and focus on long-term execution. How is it helping identify strong sales opportunities at a faster rate with a scalable consistency? And then reduced risk. A partner with the right experience can help you avoid the costly mistakes that come with trial and error. And that's been tried and true with outbound forever, to go from cold, build an inside sales team, get them up and running. There is a lot of learning and trial and error and fallbacks that come along with that. By leveraging a team that does this every day, you reduce that risk and you can plug into a pretty much operating machine right from the get-go. And that expertise is what turns potential into real results. You have AI power scaling, which I like the term of, but automated systems scale outreach while maintaining personalization at every touch point. We're seeing more and more of that with email outreach. Impact management, identifying the highest impact use cases for specific businesses. Where are we going to apply this tool? What's the purpose for it? Is it going to be used across the board or as needed? And then always be optimizing, again, continuously optimize performance through data-driven insights. And then this is really what ensures AI isn't just running in the background, but actively driving measurable improvements in revenue, efficiency, customer experience. This is really, rather imperative on outbound lead generation campaigns. And then strategy and execution, they go hand in hand. Everybody has great ideas. The difference are those individuals that actually execute those. And so with any of our partners, we want to make sure we have clear goals, set clear goals and KPIs for these AI initiatives. Also don't hide behind AI. This is a key point, as we will find those that feel AI can do their job and they can coast by kind of on autopilot or co-pilot, so it may be, but helping your teams understand how to best leverage the technology, but again, not hide behind it. And then fast action, iterate and adapt strategies based on what's working, what's not. And, at the end of the day, AI isn't really a plug and play. It's a capable partner. It's going to help you move beyond initial excitement of adoption, and then also apply long-term execution. And then also, again, with partnering, it allows you to avoid common pitfalls, wasted investment, which is key, especially in this day and age. So, I mean, poor integration, AI tools left disconnected from core business systems rarely deliver on their promises. So you have to identify how are these going to integrate and how are they going to improve what is already there. Misaligned use cases. Many companies attempt to solve the wrong problems with AI, wasting time and budget, and then lack of adoption. Employees may not embrace the tools or at least not embrace them immediately if they don't understand the value or how to use them effectively. A partner that leverages these has employees that already have adopted them, already use them, live and breathe, and you don't have to worry about that, adoption. In closing, AI is a available way to enhance outbound lead generation. AI is evolving rapidly. A strong partner can bring a front row seat to industry best practices, emerging technologies, innovative approaches. Partners share risk. When you work with a partner who is invested in your success, they're motivated to deliver real world results and not just sell a product or a platform. Their expertise becomes an extension of your team, helping you navigate challenges and ensuring the technology drives the intended impact. And really, the bottom line is AI is powerful enabler, but it's not a magic bullet. Like I mentioned, tools alone won't drive revenue or save time. People, processes, strategy really make the difference. And that businesses achieve real lasting impact approach AI as a collaborative partnership between technology and human experience, expertise. And that being said, I know that was good amount of information in a shorter window of time, but I know we also have a time limit. Definitely opening up the opportunity. If anybody's interested in learning how this can be applied to their particular company, business, sales pipeline, how it can help diversify, bring in strong sales leads, schedule a meeting. I believe we'll post that in the chat. We'll also be, online over these next few days, but feel free to book a demo, 15, 20 minutes. What you're going to get from that is a free list of companies actively looking for your products or services. So we'll share that with you. We will also provide a hand curated list of contacts focused within your ideal client profile. We like to do that to make sure we're going to be able to target contacts that are going to provide you with the highest ACV. And then also a strategy plan. After our discussion, we'll learn more. We'll go to work for you. We'll build this data out. We'll build out a strategy plan, and then we'll share that with you all at no cost. If nothing else, you'll learn. Hopefully, we'll be able to partner. But with that being said, I just wanted to turn it back over to Gerhard. And
thank you, Curtis. What comes to mind when I listen to your presentation? I'm thinking concurrently about all the sales leaders that are struggling with the number one commodity that is the platform upon which you can build your business. And that platform is called data. And if the data foundation of a house is not right, the house is going to lean and fall and crumble.
yeah,
And the data not only needs to be clean and accurate, but it needs to be trustworthy. I see so many companies, people talk about a data lake where you connect all the data creation departments together into one data lake, and then you connect it to AI, and then you have great visibility. But what happens in most companies and most sales organizations, their data puddles. There are regions that are not connected to headquarters. There are data that decays at a rate of 25 to 30% every 3 months.
yeah.
So how do you deal with all that? So what I'd like you to share very quickly in the time we have left, one success story where you came in, cleaned the data, cleaned up that data mess, and got him back on track.
Um, Well, I mean, we do have a couple of examples of fast turnarounds, but in particular, in regards to data, we have the ability to, even in our database of 200 million contacts, we're constantly validating them through campaign outreach and then also augmenting them with buyer intent data. But a good example would be one of our clients that recently came on board. They have a very, very small TAM. In fact, it's by street address. It's not by city geography, it's by street address because they're a service provider and they have to be connected in those networks. And we were having very much trouble narrowing it down and building enough data to really create an outbound cadence. But our operations team was able to build out, with the tool use of AI, different prompts that were able to identify and backtrack these addresses to companies, to contacts, to titles. And that gave us the data, not only the data, but the good current data in the right area to make certain that our outreach was extremely targeted. And in fact, that is one of the companies that recently shared a quote because they've already closed business from that. And that was a good example of moving fast. Our team realized, picking one by address is going to not make this happen. So design the tool, have the insight and experience to know what to look for, what to build, how to apply it, and then apply it. And now we have a campaign that's extremely targeted, showing results and ROI already.
So how do people get in touch with you? Just go to MarketJoy.com.
Yeah, there's a meeting link in the chat, so feel free to, book time that works for you. We'd love to chat with you. But then at any time, yeah, MarketJoy.com. If you come through, make sure you mention that you were part of Selling Power. That way we make sure, we give you all these cool things and the buyer intent list and all that. And that's, to be honest, why we start with the data, because it's important for us to show our new partners that we can build that foundation. And that begins with, hey, these are the companies looking. Hey, these are your contacts in your highest yielding ACP or ICP.
And we also have the sponsored booth, of course, so don't forget about that. There we go.
Yeah.
Chris, Gerhard, thank you so much. Again, another incredible insight.
Thank you.